Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 5 of the Gus and Dave podcast. My name is Gus. That's Dave. And I really don't think we need any more introduction other than that. It's our fifth episode so far. In this episode, we're going to be going over some of the NFL offseason moves that have already been made by some teams. We'll just touch, very lightly on that. And then we'll go into our hoops news, talking about the NBA and this All-Star weekend and jump right into NCAA hoops as well, talking about current games that have happened this week and eventual games that are going to be happening this weekend. And then we'll go into our final segment, Good Dude and Bad Dude of the Week, and that'll wrap up episode 5 for this week. All right, so let's hop right into our NFL segment.
All right, so some pretty big news coming for your Dolphins there, Gus. This past week, they released Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb. Now, the Dolphins releasing Hill saved them, I believe, $23 million worth of cap space. I mean, it's a big move for them because it creates an opportunity to bring in other guys. And I mean, no one wants to really take this chance on this Tyreek Hill a serious knee injury. You never know how they're going to come back, if they're going to be the same player they are. Me personally, if I'm the teams out there, I'm not looking to sign this guy unless he wants to go for like almost like a league minimum. I mean, this guy, you're coming off a dislocated knee and an ACL tear. Yes, you're the fastest guy in the league, but that's definitely going to slow you down. You're only getting older, and this age around 31 is right when you see those receivers kind of decline. That's like almost their tip of the iceberg at that kind of age, and they just go down from there. I think he could be a great like slot receiver. I don't know what you think, but it's one of those things where I'm not taking the risk on that guy. What about you? What do you think about that move from your Dolphins?
I mean, obviously, it being my team kind of stung a little bit because of the past, 3 or 4 years that he was on the Dolphins. Put up
Definitely.
career numbers, one
Yeah.
of the most exciting players I got to watch on my own team. Unfortunately, it didn't really come of anything. We got booted out of the first round, I think, back-to-back years by Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And yeah, I mean, that just is very unfortunate. Same thing for Bradley Chubb. He came on about the same time that Tyreek did. And but like I said, unfortunately, we didn't really get anything out of it. Clearing up all this cap room, is great. It's awesome to have, not too much, especially in like dead cap and all that kind of stuff. I don't know the, professional side of it. I don't know like all the details of it,
Yeah.
but it definitely seems like we're going into a rebuild year, which will not be fun to watch this upcoming season, that's for sure.
Welcome to
Um,
my life watching the Skins for the
I mean, it's
last
it's
however
it's
many
really going
years.
to be brutal.
Very
And I know we're not going to get a top pick like we're hoping to because we're a team that'll go out and still win, 7 or 8 games and plummet our draft stock because that's the kind of team we are. I mean, it's
uh,
it's it's brutal to watch. We'll end up with, the same thing we have this year, the 12th, 13th, 14th pick, at the end of the lottery, which, isn't, good whatsoever. But it is what it is. Hopefully make some offseason moves, get some more younger guys in, develop them, do well in the draft, and then maybe in 2 or 3 years we're finally competitive and hopefully some of these AFC quarterbacks, digress. We can actually have a chance to make a deep push in the AFC, side of the playoffs. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's a business. Like I said before, I love Tyreek on the Dolphins. When I first heard the news that we traded for him, I had a smile on my face for the next 2 weeks because him coming off of, I think it was about 2 Super Bowls,
yeah,
obviously dominating the league, being one of the best receivers of our generation, honestly, maybe even of all time. It's just very unfortunate to see, but I wish him good luck. But like you were saying before, he is 31. He turns 32, I believe, March 1st, and that is pretty old for a receiver. But I think if he comes back to half of what he is, he's still faster than 98% of the wide receivers in this league right now.
100%. And like, don't
So
get me
I
wrong,
mean,
I think he could still be that deep ball threat. Like
definitely.
it's still Tyreek Hill. You still just going to go route. You're probably going to beat the DB. I just got to put in the breadbasket. But I mean, how many of the maybe like I'm guessing you maybe see like 5 of those a season where it actually works out to where he catches it and maybe turns it into a touchdown. But
Yeah.
it's just a risk that me personally I would want to take as a GM or as a team. But
Yeah.
he's still going to be Tyreek Hill. He's still going to outrun anybody, even if you put him in that slot position. Like I said, you throw him on a quick little slant, and he can just wiggle his way, turn upfield, and make a catch of 5 yards turn out into a 42-yard gain or something like that.
Definitely, definitely. And I mean, I think he can definitely fit on any of these, playoff teams that needed receivers or need another weapon to add onto their team. Like today, we had news about Patrick Mahomes getting his contract reconstructed, and I
Yeah,
believe they saved around $43.65 million just by giving it, his full year up front to him, which is pretty crazy, just in like a signing bonus kind of thing.
the rich get
And
richer.
they're obviously trying to build up something over there. I think Patrick Mahomes probably will not play at all next season because he did unfortunately tear his ACL, I believe, with like 2 or 3 weeks left in the season. So I don't believe they're going to bring him back, but maybe adding Tyreek back to the Chiefs would be a good idea. I don't know if that's what, the GM has in mind as of right now, but he could definitely fit on like a Bills team that needs another weapon, Ravens team that needs another weapon, and there's plenty of other, playoff caliber teams that could definitely use Tyreek Hill that are probably going to pursue him at the end of the day. But like I said, I wish him the best of luck. And but moving forward with the Chiefs reconstructing Patrick Mahomes' contract, this means, I mean, like I said before, saves them $43 million in cap room, or I think it upped it to $43 million in their cap space. And look out for them to make a move this offseason. I mean, just to bolster up that roster, maybe get some young guys, and then, develop them this next year. So when Patrick Mahomes does come back in a year or so, he has a full roster. And then if they do, end up not being as dominant as they, usually are, get a higher draft pick, bring in even more weapons, bring in more young talent. And yeah, it's another team I definitely want to keep my eye on for the upcoming future for sure.
Yeah, that's a scary thing to say that Patty Mahomes coming off a year of rest, or those recovering from injury, but then also having that cap space to add whoever they think would fit the piece, and then but you also got to take in perspective. It could be we still don't know about Travis Kelsey yet. I mean, is he retiring before the season starts? Is he going to give it one more go without Patty Mahomes? I don't see him doing that. I don't see him going. Oh, I'm gonna Patty Mahomes is out. Let me play one more year, then retire. So I feel like we could either see him retire now, maybe get traded at the very maybe that's probably the least likely scenario, or go 2 more years, get one more year with Patty when he returns, and then call quits. But it's definitely interesting that the Chiefs are doing that to rework it. Shout out Patty Mahomes for doing that,
Oh
picking a
yeah,
team first mentality. That's pretty cool. But yeah, gonna
for
be
sure.
interesting.
I think, and with this upcoming free agent class, there's obviously a few pieces out there that they could definitely target, especially defensive wise. I can't name a lot of them off the top of my head, but offensively, the Chiefs, offensively revolves around Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So, like you said, depending on what Travis Kelce does, it's definitely going to be interesting moving forward if he does end up retiring, before this season. But if he doesn't, I can definitely see them going out and getting a few more offensive pieces, which, whoever's on the market, and definitely bolstering up that defense for, if you have Patrick Mahomes on your offense, controlling your whole offense, then you don't really need, all this firepower, for him to succeed. But that's definitely something to look forward to within the upcoming years. Another piece of the story out of the NFL is George Pickens getting franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys. I personally, I hate to see this for George Pickens because, him on the free agent market, he would definitely be getting paid, what Jamar Chase is getting,
Yeah.
Justin
Top
Jefferson,
dollar deal for sure.
CeeDee Lamb, all these guys that are getting paid upwards of $40 million a year, and rightfully so. I mean, they're probably the three best wide receivers in the league right now. I know Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua are, due for one of those kind of extensions as well. But I would have loved to see George Pickens go out and get that money. But honestly, if I was a Cowboy fan, I would be, ecstatic, having
Yeah,
CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens return for next season. Uh, I mean, it's going to be a repetitive kind of saying for these teams that, just missed the playoffs, especially the Cowboys. If they can, bolster up that defense just a little bit more. Obviously, their offense was probably a top five offense in the league last year, just numbers wise. And like I said, if they can bolster up that offense, that's definitely a very scary team to look out for in the NFC. But like
for
I said,
sure.
seeing George Pickens not being able to go out and get a huge payday like the top wide receivers in the league this year was it's kind of upsetting to see, but I'm sure he's gonna after next year that you can't
Yeah,
franchise tag 2 years in a row. So after next year, I can definitely see him getting a huge bag if he has anything close to what he had last year, statistic
Yeah,
wise.
I think that's what's going on in his mind. Exactly what you just said is he's thinking now, keep me around for the franchise tag, and now I'm just gonna ball out, and I'm gonna make y'all pay me, or I'm gonna go elsewhere. Because I mean, we no one saw this coming. And me personally, I did not think he was gonna be the half the player he was this season with the Cowboys.
No,
And he goes out and does what he does, and he's now gonna he deserves the money. It's not like he's demanding it. He deserves the money. Teams are looking around the league, wishing that the Cowboys didn't franchise tag him because I bet probably more than half the teams in the league were willing to put money up front, put money on the table to sign George Pickens, bring him in.
for sure, for sure. And but yeah, I mean, like you said, he's definitely going to go out and ball out again this season. That offense is going to be as explosive as it was. And CD was out, for I want to say over half the year last year because of
Right.
injury. And I mean, looking forward to next year, Dak's only going to get better. They're only going to, improve the offensive line, improve the defense. So definitely a team to look forward to watching next season. If you're not, a Dallas Cowboy hater, like I am not, I know I have a lot of Giants and Commander fans out there that aren't too happy about this because it just increases that offensive capability so much. But you know, time will tell. Time will tell
Maybe,
what happens in the
maybe
NFC.
those two, CD and Pickens, are going to butt heads, and then they both like sit out or something. You never know.
Hey, you never know. You never know. That's right.
One can only hope.
But that is going to conclude our short wrap up of some of the NFL moves that have happened so far this offseason. But yeah, let's hop right into the NBA and NCAA men's basketball. So let's get right into this NBA segment or NBA part of our podcast. All-Star Weekend just took place this past weekend. I know I was tuned in to most of the events. I definitely watched the three-point contest. I didn't watch the Celebrity All-Star game because I didn't really think that was going to be anything special whatsoever. But the actual All-Star game, I thought was very enjoyable. The format this year, I know on the last podcast, I was kind of trashing it. I didn't think it was going to be, very good or very competitive like it has been in the past, or not the past 5 years, but like even before that, the last 10 or 15 years. But this year was actually very enjoyable to watch. It was
Yeah,
between the World Stars and Stripes. The Stars and Stripes were matched up. The kind of young bucks of the league, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Chet Holmgren, and then the old guys of the league, the LeBrons, the Steph Currys, the KDs, and the Stars ended up winning, I believe, in the end, with Anthony Edwards winning All-Star Game MVP. But regardless of that, I thought it was very competitive. It was very fun to watch, especially compared to the last 4 or 5 years where it's kind of been very dull, not too much competitiveness. I know in the past, Damian Lillard would be pulling up from half court, just for the fun of it, and
yeah,
there wouldn't be like too much, involved, or there wouldn't be too much like involvement with the players. Like they didn't really care about the game whatsoever. So this year was actually very enjoyable to watch. Dave, what did you think about the All-Star game?
yeah. I didn't get to watch the full game. I definitely saw clips of it like online on social media and stuff. But I think feedback that I've been looking at that this format is the way to go from here on out. At least for now, because I mean the ratings were good. They had good viewerships, and it was very engaging. Like it was a three-team mini tournament, like you mentioned, and it was just like it was a round robin tournament. So people were like staying involved, staying engaged because any team could have won. Like you just said, the old heads, and you named LeBron, Steph, KD, Kawhi. Like you would think that team should win, but then you got the young guys that maybe are more athletic, more agility, whatever. Maybe you're taking it a little more serious just because they maybe could be their first time or whatever. But I mean, they enjoyed it. I think all teams enjoyed it. The world team enjoyed it, and I think it was very good for going forward from now at least. I know they're still mentioning maybe involving a one-on-one tournament, which I think that'd be very cool to watch. I think
That would be
seeing
cool.
that if you put money on the line, the players are going to care more. But maybe adding that instead of the dunk contest, which I'm a big hater of that now. I'm not for this dunk contest at all. I mean, Jackson Hayes, that the dunk I'm talking about that
Oh yeah.
he did what was it, like a little pullback from that's all he did right there.
I mean, nothing special
I
whatsoever.
can do that dunk on a 9 foot hoop right now if you give me a ball. But uh, I mean, like, I get the argument of some people say there's only so much creativity you can do for the dunk contest. Like, we've seen it all. The NBA has been around. The dunk contest has been around forever long. There's only so much you can do jumping over people, jumping over cars. But I think it's that creativity aspect where, we're seeing dunks that we've never seen before or different variations of them. Like, I mean, like you always see people jumping over somebody, but maybe jumping over somebody that tosses you the ball that goes between your legs or something along the lines where it's like we haven't seen that before. That's engaging. I mean, it takes me back to a dunk contest a while ago where I forget who it was, but he like, blew out a cupcake on top of the rim, and he just showed that my head gets above the rim, and like little things like that, kind of creativity, kind of things.
Yeah,
But I am all for them putting a hiatus on this dunk contest until we can get some actual dunkers in the dunkers to participate. Maybe put like a big prize, money guarantee on the line, to where these guys, the high flyers of the league, are saying, "I want to do this," and not just Jackson Hayes doing a pump dunk from the inside the little the half circle at the free throw line. But that's my big disappointment from this All Star break was the dunk contest. But all in all, I think it was a great event. Like we mentioned, that All Star the format was great, attracting viewers. What did you think about that dunk contest or those little mini games they did?
definitely. I think also the 3-point contest was very, very fun to watch as well. I know that Damian Lillard ended up taking the W on that, and especially he hasn't played one NBA game this year yet because he
Yeah,
did tear his ACL during the season last year. So that was pretty fun to watch him come out and absolutely dominate. Some of the guys that were in the 3-point contest, I mean, Con Knippel, he's a rising star. He's going to be in the 3-point contest for years to come. Devin Booker put up a great fight in 3-point contest as well. But I believe I saw after the 3-point contest that Damian Lillard had texted Stephen Curry that that Steph needs to come back, Clay needs to come back. I believe it's going to be in Phoenix, so D Book is definitely going to be back in 3-point contest. And I mean, having those four guys in a 3-point contest sounds very entertaining to me
yeah,
personally. And maybe you throw Continental back in there, throw another few snipers from three back into the 3-point contest. And I mean, that becomes one of the main events of the All-Star weekend, in my personal opinion, because of how big the three ball is in the league right now. So, I mean, stuff like that, getting these guys back into contests like these, because we want to see best on best. We don't want to see, you know, a bench piece, that shoots 40% from three, but, it doesn't bring in the attention that a Steph Curry would bring in, or a Damian Lillard, or a Devin Booker would bring in to this 3-point contest moving forward. So I thought that was very enjoyable to watch as well, bringing back some of these guys. And I can't wait for next year to watch the
yeah.
Steph Curry to come back, especially if he does bring on Klay Thompson as well.
Going along with that, I think the way they could do the dunk contest similar to that is just imagine they had Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, and Mac McClung in a dunk contest, and where everybody is on their feet watching, recording it because they know some random stuff is about to go down. Some of the most insane dunks we've ever seen are gonna go down to where you might have triple overtime like we saw in that 2016 one with Gordon and LaVine, where
Yeah.
they're just pulling stuff out where it's like, all right, someone's got to lose. We got to give one person a 9 just so we can end this before the whole night goes. But I think that, like you said, the bringing in those guys where they want the best shooters to participate, reaching out to them like personally where the players did. I think that's the great way, a great step forwards to making All Star Weekend more enjoyable, more watchable, and more entertaining throughout the duration of the weekend. Not just okay, we got All Star game. Who cares about the little mini games and mini events?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But
Yeah, I saw. I
what?
got I got one last piece on it. Is
Sure.
there was a celebrity All Star 3-point contest.
Really? This year?
There was. And
Okay.
you want to know who won the celebrity 3-point contest? I say celebrity loud because
Who's that?
Jared McCain, the NBA player that
Come
made a
on.
3-pointer in an NBA game the night before the All-Star break, won the celebrity All-Star 3-point contest.
That is pretty insane. A current NBA player won the celebrity 3-point contest. That's
I
nuts.
just need to know what they were thinking. If they were classifying him as a TikToker for the weekend, if that's what,
A social media influencer, maybe.
yeah,
But
that you can bet your odds on to score points in a game. But
yeah, I wonder what the odds were on that. I wonder if you could have bet on that because I would have hammered Jared
yeah,
McCain to win that 3-point contest. Do you know the other contestants that were participating?
I know Drewski was one of them.
Oh my goodness. Oh
So
my
yeah,
goodness.
you got Jerry McCain and Drewski in a contest.
And the
There's
cash,
odds.
that is pretty ridiculous. That is pretty ridiculous. But that's basically all we have for the NBA this week. I mean, obviously the All-Star weekend was this past weekend, and now it jumps into the second half of the year, and we'll talk more about that as the season, comes to a close. But let's hop into men's basketball in the NCAA, how it is starting to heat up recently, especially in the Big 12. I believe there's about 7 or 8 teams that are ranked right now in the country, and it seems that every other day that, especially now in conference play, that there is a top 10, ranked matchup in the Big 12, every other day, like I said. And it's very exciting to watch. And if it's not Big 12, you also have Big 10. There was a great Big 10 basketball game on last night. Purdue and Michigan. Michigan ended up winning the game by about 10 or 12 points, I believe. But college basketball is at an all-time high right now. And not even bringing up how many like pure freshman phenoms there are in college basketball and all across the board in all conferences. So it's been heating up, and let's hop right into talking about it. So, like I said last night, Michigan and Purdue played. Michigan had won that game, but also Texas Tech, who had just come off a huge win at home against number one ranked Arizona, loses a game to Arizona State at Arizona State. Granted, JT Toppin, one of the best players in the country in the end of the Big 12, did leave the game early in the second half with an injury. So that is something that could come up later in the season. I don't know if he's going to sit out anytime soon because their end of the year schedule is just super stacked. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then let's hop right into the games that we have coming up this weekend. Another few in the
Big
Big
game.
12. We have some
Big game.
interconference play, and like I said, in the Big 12 as well. So let's hop right into that. We're going to be talking about some of the games that are happening on Saturday. So the first game of the slate on Saturday, the first ranked matchup on Saturday, is going to be Arizona at Houston, the 4 ranked team in the country at the second ranked team in the country. So Dave, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, I got I'm playing to the favorite. I'm taking Houston here. It's
Okay.
going to be in Houston. Arizona's coming off I think they've lost their last two matchups.
Yep.
Not against Houston, but last two just games in general. But I'm just taking Houston here. It's going to be a home game. I'm sure that crowd's going to be riled up for a top five matchup this late in the season. It's going to be there's March Madness seeding on the line basically in this game. If you think about it,
Definitely.
Houston's going to come out to ball. They're going to come out to play. They got some great defense, and I think they're going to be able to shut down that Arizona offense pretty well. Then also just put up the points they need to win this game.
Definitely. I also have Houston in this game. Houston is also coming off a huge loss at Iowa State. I believe that was on Monday. And like you said, Arizona's coming off a loss, I believe, against Texas Tech was the last loss that they had. And I believe they had lost another game before that or after that. So they're coming off 2 straight losses after starting off the season undefeated. So they're going to Houston. I believe that they had an injured player on Arizona's team. I'm not sure if he is healthy yet. I believe it's Koa Pete, one of their best players offensively and defensively. He's another pure freshman this year that has been absolutely tremendous. But I'm not sure if he's going to be back for this game or if he has already come back. But I definitely have Houston in this game as well. The home environments in the Big 12 have seemed to come into play recently, especially in conference play. These home teams just have so much of an advantage because of how loud some of these stadiums can get, especially Houston crowd, Kansas crowd, really all across the board, no matter where you are in the Big 12. Home field advantage is definitely a big, big factor. So let's go right into our second game of Saturday's slate, ranked matchup wise. Michigan versus Duke in Washington,
Yeah.
D.C., at Capital One Arena. The number one versus the number three ranked teams in the country. Michigan, like I said, coming off a huge win yesterday against Purdue and the number seventh ranked team in the country. Michigan has just been absolutely dominant this year so far. I believe their only loss was in a tournament at the beginning of the season in one of the tropical tournaments that involved outer conference play. So they've been dominant in conference, out of conference, and the thing is about Duke, their home field advantage is probably one of the best in the country. They have been unstoppable at home, but when they are away, you saw this about a week and a half ago when they came to UNC and lost by 3 points. I mean, they were only down for, zero point 0.3 of a second in that whole game, but they did end up losing. So at a mutual site, I have Michigan winning this game pretty comfortably, honestly. They've just looked very good on both sides of the ball. And I mean, if Duke does win this game, that'd be huge for them, especially going into this late in the season. That would probably put them at the number one team in the country. But like I said, right now, Michigan has just been so hot offensively and defensively, so I'm going to take them in this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the opposite of you. I'm actually taking Duke here. I just think a neutral site game, it's probably gonna be like a 50-50 split between fans, you should think. And then I mean Duke's last loss was at UNC, like we mentioned, a buzzer beater. Before that, it was December 20th, which was also a 1 point score game. I just think that they've been unfortunate in their losses, but I just think they have the firepower. They have Boozer's going to go out there. He's going to ball out in DC. Michigan, they're a good team. They're going to be obviously make it a tough game. It's probably that spread's 2.5, and it's probably going to be within that spread in my eyes. But I'm just taking Duke here. I think they're going to outlast Michigan and make it jump to first overall in the NCAA rankings.
Cool, cool. So let's hop into our last ranked matchup of Saturday's slate is going to be Iowa State at BYU. And now Iowa State is coming off two straight top five victories against Houston and Arizona. And I believe they have a lot of momentum going into this game at BYU. And BYU actually just got one of their key players hurt. I'm forgetting his name right now, but one of their guards, their true freshman guards, is also going to be out for the rest of the season. I believe he tore his ACL or Achilles, and he's going to be out. So a lot of pressure is going to be put on AJ DeBanta to turn up even more than he already has this season. But this game is very important for BYU, especially seeding wise, going into this late in February and into March. I believe if they do win this game, this proves that, they're already back in the top 15 because I believe they're 23rd in the country right now
Yeah.
overall. And, they need a big win like this. I know they've come off a few losses to these Big 12 teams that, are in the top 10, but and at home as well. In their environment, they've lost a few. So if they can pull this win off against Iowa State, I believe that, that gives them all their credibility back, especially because Iowa State has come off these two huge wins at home. So, I mean, and Iowa State's three losses this year have come to Big 12 teams away. So that
Yeah.
even gives BYU a bigger advantage for this game because Iowa State obviously isn't as good as they are at home. Granted, like I said before, these Big 12 environments are not to play around with. So I have BYU in this game pulling it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on the opposite again. I'm taking Iowa State here. I was looking over their last 8 games just for a sample size. BYU's 3-5 in those last 8. Iowa State on the other hand 7-1. Like you mentioned, two top 5 wins. I believe you said Arizona, but I think you meant to say Kansas.
I
And
think,
they,
yeah, that's my
they,
fault.
no worry, they beat Kansas and they beat Houston. I mean, that's just you don't beat top 5 teams very often, let alone two in like a week period. I think they're hot right now. I think they're come to play in the BYU environment, in the with Mormons all around them. I don't think it matters. I think the Cyclones are going to take this one easily. I couldn't find the spread on this game, but I think they're going to cover. I think they're going to win. Um, BYU, they might put up a tough matchup, but I just think Iowa State is too hot for them right now, and they're just going to blow them out.
All right. Well, those are our picks for the Saturday slate. A lot of Big 12 games. We said that interconference play with Michigan and Duke. It's going to be basically all day. I believe it's 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. So a lot to look forward to on Saturday. But that's going to wrap up our NCAA men's basketball
It's
segment of the
it's
podcast.
just a quick news on Coastal Men's hoops, real quick.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
We wouldn't be two Coastal grads without talking about our alma mater, but they are right now. I was looking at the Sun Belt standings, and they're sixth in the conference right now. But they have 4 games left. If they win out, I can see them making that push for maybe like a 2 or a 1 in the conference, and then in the Sun Belt tournament, it's a tournament anything goes. They could be a first round exit, or they could be a team that goes all the way. Maybe we get that Cinderella bid, like we were talking, a little 16th ranked if we can win the tournament. But they got JMU coming up tonight. JMU is 10 in the Sun Belt. They got Marshall on Saturday. Then they go to Georgia State and then they go to JMU. They go at JMU on the 27th. So they got 4 matchups where they're ahead of every team besides Marshall. Marshall's fourth in the Sun Belt. But these teams, if they win, and App State's right now in first, if they beat Marshall, that's going to be a win and a loss swing on that the standings right there. Win out, you never know what can happen. So they could make that push for the Sun Belt 1 or 2 seed, like I mentioned. And it'll be cool to see because I know for as long we were there for the 4 years, men's hoops wasn't good. I mean,
No.
that arena was never sold out, and it's not a shot at the team, it's not a shot at the university. We love the school, we love the university, we love the teams there. They just weren't good. It wasn't entertaining basketball. We were watching bricks being thrown up left, right, and center from both teams. And then, I mean, they just redid the court floor over the summer, so it looks pretty sick. I'm still waiting to see that in person, where it's like the black floor with the teal apron going around it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty sick, and I think they got a pretty good fan base going right now. I think the way the players and the team and the social media has been promoting the team and trying to get all the fans in, doing giveaways. I saw they were doing a half court shot for like 10 grand one game. I'm sure the kid missed it, unfortunately, I didn't see a post about it. But I mean, it's just those kind of things that get the school, get the university, get the fans behind the team to go and watch the team play. And obviously, it seems to be working ish. I mean, I think this is the best we've seen in our time of being a Coastal fan since we've been there. But it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, they can win out and make that push. Coach Gray and the team can get a good seed for that Sun Belt tournament. And just maybe we're playing
You never
Duke in
know.
that 16 versus 1.
Oh man. Oh man. That would be rough to watch. But hey, in March anything can happen. In March
Exactly.
anything can happen. But yeah, we're rooting for our shots. Hopefully, like Dave said, we make a push. To even see them in the bracket would be very cool.
Yeah.
And even if we make a deep run in the Sun Belt, conference tournament, that'd be something that we've haven't seen in our time being Coastal fans. So shout out to the Coastal men's basketball team, rooting for you guys. And it is pretty cool to see like the basketball players go to our old dining halls and hand out flyers to
Yeah.
kids promoting the games. And if the games are anything like the game that happened a few weeks ago against UMass, 3 overtimes, that I definitely want to go to those games too.
For
So
sure.
shout out Coastal men's basketball. But I believe that's going to wrap it up
Yeah.
for our NCAA men's basketball segment. And so let's hop right into our good dudes and bad dudes of the week.
All right. Welcome to our good dude and bad dude segment of this podcast. I'm going to start us off with my good dude of the week, and it's going to be Anthony Kim. He's the live golfer over there. He's playing for the Four Aces, which is Dustin Johnson's team. I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar, or Gus, if you're familiar with live golf or how that team environment really works. But this guy, Anthony Kim, I mean, he's 40 years old right now. And but we're flashing back 15, 20 years ago. This guy was the next thing. He was coming up in the scenes in the PGA. He had 3 PGA wins before turning 25, which I believe it's him, Tiger, and like 2 others are the only 2 people would be able to do this. And then he had an Achilles injury. He tore his Achilles, and he went on a 12-year hiatus. No one heard of him. No one saw him. I mean, this guy, he was battling addiction from the drugs he was getting handed to help his Achilles. He was battling depression. He had major health issues. Off the face of the earth, no one saw this guy. No, we've never heard of him. And then Liv starts up, and Liv gave him a chance. He wanted to turn his life around, so he gave Liv a shot. He joined Liv in 2024 and played in the season as like a wild card, which if you're not familiar with Liv, they kind of like put these wild card players in to make the tournament equal amount of players, or like make the pairings equal amount, I believe. And he signed for Liv. And what Liv does, they actually do a relegation, so where you get relegated from the league if you're not performing, because they want the best players in the league, obviously. And this guy earned 0 points across the entire Liv golf season, which I mean, you only get points if you place X amount and higher. So this guy was finishing like dead last every single time. Um, but he was relegated from the league, and then this past summer he entered requalification, where he had to like go through like 3 tournaments competing against these players. And on the last day, he like made a birdie on hole 18 to get promoted back into Liv, which that by itself is a great story. And so he joins the Liv season this season as another wild card. And then the Four Aces, it's a 4-people team. It's Dustin Johnson and 2 others that I couldn't name, and now Anthony Kim. but Patrick Reed was on that team. And when Reed left to go back to the PGA, they need another person. So DJ said, "Let me sign Anthony Kim, man. He played well in the previous tournament." So this past weekend at Live Adelaide, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. That's over there in Australia. This guy he was in third place entering the fourth round, paired up with John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau by a 5-stroke lead. He was behind by 5. DeChambeau and Rahm were tied for first. This guy, Anthony Kim, comes back and beats both of them by 3 strokes. He wins the tournament. It's his first win in I think it was like his first win in 13 years or 14 years or however long. I mean, this guy, he battled it all. I mean, he's sober now. He doesn't do any drugs, no liquor, no nothing. The entire team showered him with Celsius energy drink because they don't want to shower him with beer. And it was pretty cool. Dustin Johnson made sure that AK, as they call him, made sure he knew that it was Celsius. It wasn't beer, because that could probably be a pretty traumatic experience if he thought it was beer getting showered on him after being sober for this long. But that's my good dude of the week. I mean, this guy, he's battled through it all. He was tested. He went through some really rough times in his life, being the face of the golf industry, being the next Tiger Woods, or coming up with those guys, to not being on the earth for 12 years. Most likely he maybe could have committed suicide or tried to done something like that, which is terrible to hear, terrible news. But this guy, he stuck through it. His famous quote is "Get 1% better every day." And he did that, and he just won a golf tournament. And I mean, he's on top of the world. Shout out to him. Shout out to his family. I mean, he came
Shout
from,
out AK. Shout
yeah.
out
I mean,
AK. What a
he,
story.
yeah, he's a great guy. I've seen him in person at the Live Golf events I've worked in. He's always talking to fans, signing autographs. So great guy. I'm so super proud and super happy that he won. But yeah, that's my good guy of the week. Try and top that, Gus. I'm sorry.
Let's go.
Kind
I
of.
mean, I'm definitely not going to be able to top that. That's a pretty awesome story. But my good of the week this week is going to be Anthony Edwards, All-Star Game MVP on
Yeah.
Sunday. He didn't put up, any crazy numbers, but he obviously led his team to win, the All-Star Game tournament, round robin, whatever you want to call it. And after the game, he was interviewed by Malika Andrews, and he got asked, what really pushes you, this hard? And I believe I don't really remember the question, but he answered that anytime he gets to play, LeBron, Steph, and KD, he likes to really stick it to him because like those are his idols. And I love that mentality out of a young guy like Ant. I believe he's still only like 22 or 23 years old, hasn't reached like the peak of his prime yet, and he's still out here balling and hooping, putting up 30 a game, leading the Timberwolves to the playoffs this year. And who knows where he'll end up in the playoff bracket this year, and moving forward with the team. But I love Anthony Edwards. I don't know about you, but I mean he's one of my favorite players in the league, and he's still so young. And
Yeah.
I love just the mentality he brings to the game. He's a dog. He on both sides of the ball. He doesn't, foul bait like some of the players in our league do. And he'll just go out there and stick it to you. And I love that in an NBA player. So that's my good of the week. I know it's not really comparable to yours, Dave, but yeah, Anthony Edwards is my good of the week. But my bad dude of the week this week is going to be Providence guard slash forward. I don't know what position he plays, but Duncan Powell. Last Saturday during the St. John's and Providence game, I believe his name was Bryce Hopkins, who was a previous Providence transfer to St. John's, was going up for a simple layup on a fast break, and Duncan Powell decides to go in and technical foul this guy. Wrapped him around his head, brought him down. Could have ended up with a severe injury at the end of the day. Luckily, I don't believe he was hurt, but it just led out to a huge brawl between both sides. He was eventually, I believe, cut by Providence and the basketball team. They said that they do not condone any of that kind of stuff, within their organization, within their university. So that's my bad of the week. Just hate to see that stuff happen on a college basketball court, even with the rivalry that St. John's and Providence has in the Big East. I know it could get a little feisty at times, but that's just the nature of basketball and sports in general is getting, putting your emotions out there, putting everything you got out on the court. But, that's just taking it way too far. I don't know if they've had previous, beef within Providence, and that's why it led to him transferring, or if it was any other, thing that led Duncan Powell to do this, but you just hate to see that on the court. So that's my bad dude of the week.
No, that's a good bad dude. You never want to see that in any sport. It results in injury, anything of those matters. But this week I was having a tough time trying to find a bad dude. I mean, this week was really tough just because NBA was an All-Star break. There's no more football to go off of. So I was just kind of looking around social media, and I stumbled across a video that surfaced at a NASCAR race this past weekend, and it's some people's goats. It's not my goat. It shouldn't be your goat. But this guy, Michael Jordan, I mean, what was he doing? It was probably one of those moments where he didn't see anything wrong with, like, he was maybe just messing around. But if you're not sure what I'm referencing, there's a video online. Go look it up. Just type in Michael Jordan. It's gonna be the first video you find. But it seemed he was messing around with Tyler Reddick's, the NASCAR winner's son, and it seemed he was touching this son and on his back. Let's call it. It would look in a playful manner, but it's not a good look for
Definitely.
the 6-time NBA champion Michael Jordan. It's not a good look at all. I don't know. Like I said, he saw no wrong in it. I'm sure. Hopefully, the son didn't take event, or the NASCAR racer took offense as if it was just horse playing around or messing around. But when the cameras zoom in and you can't catch any audio, and you just see Michael Jordan with his hands on a younger kid, it's not
Yeah,
a good look.
not
Not
a
a good
good
look at
look
all.
whatsoever.
So
Definitely.
that's gonna be my bad dude of the week. It's just it's a tough week for MJ. MJ, if there was anything else going on, I would have found something else. But if you're listening, I'm sorry. MJ, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the pod. But
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
no, that's my bad dude of the week. And yeah,
All right, well, that concludes episode 5 of the Gus and Dave podcast. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Follow our Instagram account. I'll link that down below. And if you guys have any questions for us, anything you want us to answer or talk about on the podcast, I'll leave our email in the description, or you can just leave a comment on the video, and we'll bring it up on the pod, because why not? Thank you guys again for watching, and we shall see you next week.
ciao.